Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Nara Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, welcome for the third canto, and you're in the first chapter, 41st shloka, and uh, uh, this particular chapter is actually named Questions by Vidura. So, if you see that Vidura is asking many questions about the welfare of Yadus and Kurus. So, in this particular shloka, he had asked about the uh, the welfare of he was lamenting about Dhritarashtra, who actually drove Vidura out, although he was his sincere well-wisher. So let's read this. सौम्यानुशोचे तमध पतंत भात्रे परेताय विदुद्रुहे यः निर्यात पितो येन सुहृतस्वपूर्या अहं स्वपुत्रान् समनुव्रतेन व्रतेनः. Sorry. Yeah, Rupa Mataji, please read the translation and purport both.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
O gentle, I simply lament for him, Dhritarashtra, who rebelled against his brother after death. By him I was driven out of my own house, although his sincere well-wisher, because he accepted the line of action adopted by his own sons. Purport. Vidura did not ask about the welfare of his elder brother because there was no chance of his well-being, only news of his gliding down to hell. Vidura was a sincere well-wisher for Dhritarashtra, and he had a thought about him in the corner of his heart. He lamented that Dhritarashtra could rebel against the sons of his dead brother Pandu, and that he would drive him Vidura out of his own house on the dictation of his crooked sons. In spite of these actions, Vidura never became an enemy of Dhritarashtra, but continued to be his well-wisher. And at the last stage of Dhritarashtra's life, it was Vidura only who proved to be his real friend. Such is the behavior of a Vaishnava like Vidura. He desires all good even for his enemies. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, devotees will never desire, anything bad for anyone. Devotees are always well-wishers of every living entity, not only human beings, but even animals also. So then further he says that, Soham harer martaya vidambena drusho nrunachalayato vidhatu nanyopalakshaya padavi prasada chacharami pashyan gata vismayotraha. Priyanka, please read this translation and purport both.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Translation. I am not astonished at this, having traveled over the world without being seen by others. The activities of the personality of Godhead, which are like those of a man in this mortal world, are bewildering to others, but I know of his greatness by his grace, and thus I am happy in all respects. Purport. Although he was the brother of Dhritarashtra, Vidura was completely different. By the grace of Lord Krishna, he was not foolish like his brother, and thus his brother's association could not influence him. Dhritarashtra and his materialistic sons wanted to falsely lord it over the world by dint of their own strength. The Lord encouraged them in this, and thus they became more and more bewildered. But Vidura wanted to achieve sincere devotional service of the Lord, and therefore became a soul absolutely surrendered to the absolute personality of Godhead. He could realize this in the process of his pilgrim's journey, and thus he was freed from all doubts. He was not at all sorry to be bereft of his hearth and home, because he now had experienced that dependence on the mercy of the Lord is a greater freedom than so called freedom at home. A person should not be in the renounced order of life unless he is firmly convinced of being protected by the Lord. This stage of life is explained in Bhagavad-gītā as Abhayam Sattva,
Some should.
Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi. Every living entity is factually completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord, but unless one is in the pure state of existence, he cannot be established in this position. This stage of dependence is called Sattva Samshuddhi, or purification of one's existence. The result of such purification is exhibited in fearlessness. A devotee of the Lord who is called Narayana Para is never afraid of anything because he is always aware of the fact that the Lord protects him in all circumstances. With this conviction, Vidura traveled alone and he was not seen or recognized by any friend or foe. Thus, he enjoyed freedom of life without obligation to the many duties of the world. When Lord Sri Krishna was personally present in the mortal world in his eternal blissful form of Shyamasundara, those who were not pure devotees of the Lord could not recognize him or know his glories. Avajananti mam modha manashim tanum ashritam. Bhagavad Gita 9.11. He is always bewildering to the non-devotees, but he is always seen by the devotees by dint of their pure devotional service to him. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, ahead he says that Nunam nripanam panthānam mahīmahuścālayatam chamobhi vadhat prapannārthi jihire yashayoshe apya upaikasatangam bhagavan karunam. Matangi Mataji, please read translation and purport both.
Hare Krishna, Dandavats Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Translation. Despite his being the Lord and being always willing to relieve the distress of sufferers, he, Krishna, refrained from killing the Kurus. Although they committed all sorts of sins, and although he saw other kings constantly agitating the earth by their strong military movements carried out under the dictation of three kinds of false pride. Purport. As declared in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears in the mortal world to execute his much needed mission of killing the miscreants and giving protection to the suffering faithful. In spite of that mission, Lord Krishna tolerated the insult to Draupadi by the Kurus and the injustices perpetrated against the Pandavas, as well as insults to himself. The question may be raised, why did he tolerate such injustices and insults in his presence? Why did he not chastise the Kurus immediately? When Draupadi was insulted in the assembly by the Kurus by their attempt to see her naked in the presence of all, the Lord protected Draupadi by supplying an unlimited length of clothing. But he did not chastise the insulting party immediately. This silence of the Lord did not mean, however, that he excused the offenses of the Kurus. There were many other kings on earth who had become very proud of three kinds of possessions: wealth, education, and followers, and they were constantly agitating the earth by movements of military strength. The Lord was just waiting to get them together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them all at one time, just to make a shortcut in his killing mission. Godless kings or heads of state when puffed up by advancement of material wealth, education, and increase of population, always make a show of military strength and give trouble to the innocent. When Lord Krishna was personally present, there were many such things all over the world, and he thus arranged for the battle of Kurukshetra. In his manifestation of Vishvarupa, the Lord expressed his mission of killing as follows: I have willingly descended on the earth in my capacity of inexorable time in order to decrease the unwanted population. I shall finish all those who are assembled here except you, the Pandavas. This killing does not wait for you to take part in it. It is already arranged. All will be killed by me. If you want to become famous as the hero of the battlefield and thus enjoy the booty of the war, then, O Sabyasachi, just become the immediate cause of this killing and thus take the credit. I have already killed all the great warriors, Bhishma, Drona, Jayadratha, Karna, and many other great generals. Do not worry. Fight the battle and be famous as a great hero. Bhagavad-gītā 11.3 to 34. The Lord always wants to see his devotee as the hero of some episode which he himself performs. He wanted to see his devotee and friend Arjuna as the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra, and thus he waited for all the miscreants of the world to assemble. That and nothing else is the explanation of his waiting. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, see, imagine now the Lord is so eager to see his own devotee as a hero, where, actually the Lord is performing. It is the Lord's plan, and everything is orchestrated by the Supreme Lord. And he is, Arjuna is just a puppet in his hands. And the whole orchestra is going on, by the will of the Supreme Lord, or by the will of the Providence. And this is like, how. So, if they say that if the Supreme Lord wants to make somebody hero, he can make that person hero in 1 second. And if he wants to, bring down somebody, he can make that person zero in 1 second. So, and even if you see, I remember one very nice instance in this is Mahabharat section only, where when Draupadi was insulted in that assembly, that time Krishna and Rukmini, they were playing actually that Chausa game, that dice game there. Okay. So Krishna is telling Rukmini that, one of my devotees, he's in great trouble. So Rukmini is telling that, what are you doing over here if your devotee is in trouble? You should go, immediately go. So then Krishna is telling that, no, that devotee hasn't called me as yet. So then, if the devotee will not call me, then how will I go, Only on calling I will go, no? So then they started playing the game. And on this side, because the Draupadi is actually holding on to her sari with her teeth. So then again, because Krishna is playing that dice game, he's saying that, that devotee is in great trouble. So see, on this side, Draupadi is being troubled, and over here, Krishna internally also is being troubled. Means you see, that the devotees, distress is Krishna's distress equally. He takes it very personally on him also, because if his devotee is in distress, Krishna equally is in distress and anxiety. So then, this side, Rukmini is saying, what are you doing then? You're playing, but, your mind is in that devotee. Why don't you go over there? So Krishna is telling that, no. Till now she hasn't called me. Actually, she is actually calling out for her husbands. And I feel that her husbands are, pretty capable enough. They are like, big warriors and all. And they will be able to, manage it. But then Draupadi is calling out to, Yudhishthir Maharaj and Bhim and Nakul, Sahadev, Arjuna and all these Maharathis. But, they are also helpless. Then Krishna is telling that, Krishna is again playing that dice game over here, that side. And Krishna is telling, I don't know, my devotee is in so much great trouble, but what can I do when I'm helpless? Rukmini is telling, you over here are so much in an anxiety. Why don't you go over there? So she's saying that, Krishna is saying that, no, she's actually seeking help from her, uh, elder grand desires, grandfathers and uncles and kulgurus and all. So at that point of time, Draupadi was asking help from Bhishma Pitama, Kripacharya, Dronacharya, and she was asking help from the various, elderly senior citizens who were present over there. So again, they were also not in a position because Bhishma Pitama was actually eating in the house of Dhritarashtra. So he has to be loyal to the throne. And Kripacharya and Dronacharya also similarly, they were, in that same palace. They were, obliged to Dhritarashtra. So then, so this is a back and forth, scene happening. And then Draupadi is actually still trying to save herself. Still, actually, she has holded that sari in her teeth, and she's still calling out to different people. But then, when she called out to all these people and nobody could help, then Draupadi, she raised both her hands and she started, calling out, "Hey Govind, hey Madhav, hey Damodar, please help me." And she started pouring tears, torrents of tears. Then Krishna is telling Rukmini on the other side in Dwarka, because Krishna was in Dwarka and they were in Hastinapur. So Krishna is saying, now my devotee has paved a highway road, express highway road for me. Now I am going. And when she actually raised both her hands and she actually expressed her helplessness before the Supreme Lord, that's where Krishna rushed and he expanded himself in the form of a sari and he saved her, life, and he saved her, you can say, from being actually, insulted in that, assembly. And Dushasan is pulling. Dushasan got tired. 50 meters, 100 meters, unlimited sari he is providing, and he is saving her. So there is a back history again to this incident also. So why did Krishna help? Because Krishna, when somebody does something for Krishna, Krishna never forgets that. Krishna always remembers. So even a slightest, act if somebody is doing, like offering a lamp or offering a flower or offering water, fruit, washing the pots, any small devotional act if a person is doing, Krishna never forgets that. So one day what had happened is that Draupadi and Krishna, so Krishna was eating sugarcane, and in those days, previous times, at least I know in my childhood, we used to eat sugarcane. We used to pull out that hard covering of the sugarcane, that big bamboo, that sugarcane bamboo. We used to pull it out with the teeth, and then we used to actually suck the sugarcane juice. And somehow the other, while cutting that sugarcane, Krishna's last finger actually had a blood ooze out. So immediately Draupadi, she tears her sari and she bandages him, and she stops that blood from oozing out from that little finger of Krishna. So then Krishna is saying that, hey, such an expensive sari you tore for me. So he's saying, what is the cost of this sari in front of you, Krishna? They like this crores of saris I can just, throw away for your, life. So Krishna was very pleased with her, that devotion. So Krishna said that in future, whenever I will get an opportunity, I will, repay you back of whatever, favor that you have done to me today. So if you see over there, that time that little cloth had many, strings of lines of, threads. So, how he has repaid. So those strings and, those horizontal and vertical strings. So he counted the horizontal strings also. He counted the vertical strings also. And then he doubled those strings. And then he's saying, I'll repay you back. So Krishna, repaid Draupadi back when she was in a utter helpless condition. So now a question may be raised that will Krishna come to help me when I am in that helpless condition? So why not? Yes, definitely Krishna will come and help, but we need to express that 100% helplessness. Like, for example, if you see a very small child, a 2-year-old child, a 1-year-old child, or a 3-year-old child, when the child cries, he knows that only I have one shelter and I don't have any other shelter. And my shelter is only my mother. And he does not even go to the father, uncle, grandmother, sister, brother, nobody he goes to. He goes to only one person. And he says, Mama, Mama. So he goes to only the mother. And in a very helpless condition, he's calling out to the mother. And the mother is in the kitchen. And if she's cooking something, immediately she will drop everything and she will rush to the child. Or she'll pick up the child because she knows that my child is very helpless and my child has only called me out of so many people. So it is my responsibility to, pick up my child and, relieve him of his anxiety. And that's how Krishna also, while playing the dice game with Rukmini, he got up immediately and he went to help Draupadi, being a motherly, person. So Krishna is both motherly also and fatherly also. Where he has to show his motherly qualities, he'll show his motherly qualities also. Where he has to show his fatherly qualities, he'll show the fatherly qualities also. And that's how Krishna, reciprocates with his devotees. The other day in the Bhagavad-gītā class, we were discussing this very wonderful shloka. Ye yatha ma prapadyante tam tathaks bhajamyaham mama vartamaninu vartante manusya. So Krishna is saying that ye yatha mam prapadyante, to the degree somebody is, worshipping me, somebody is loving me, to the degree somebody wants to come closer to me, to that degree I reciprocate, because Krishna is a reciprocal Lord. Krishna is a person and that's why he will reciprocate. And then he is saying that tam tathas bhajamyam. So as they worship me, I reward them also equally. Rewarding means only reciprocal. And then mama vartamanu vartante. So so everyone is following my path. Anuvartante. Anuvartante means following my path. And then manushya parsa sarvata. So he's saying that everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Pritha. So he's saying that everyone is following me. So, and everyone is following means what? Everyone is searching for Krishna. Actually, everyone is searching for Krishna, but they don't know that they are searching for Krishna. They are ignorant in their they are innocent in their ignorance. Because they do not know what we are searching for. But they are searching actually for Krishna because they are searching for happiness. And happiness only Krishna can give and nobody else can give. So, even if it is a Jnani, even he's a Ashtanga yogi, if it is a Dhyana yogi, so ultimately they are finding Krishna only. But what they do is they realize Krishna partially. Like the Jnanis, they will realize Krishna in his impersonal feature. But the devotees will realize Krishna in his 100% feature. Because he's a pure devotee, he's a bhakta. and he's serving the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is realized fully only by pure devotees and by nobody else. Not even a Dhyan yogi, not even an Ashtanga yogi. So that is why Krishna is uh, the the only object of everyone's realization. So even if an Ashtanga yogi, even if he's actually meditating on the four-handed Paramatma form, right? So for that for the Ashtanga yogi also, the object of everyone's realization for him also is actually Krishna only. Whether he's in the Paramatma form or he's in the Bhagavan form. But because the Ashtanga yogi stops at Paramatma realization only, so that is why he is actually realizing the Supreme Lord only, but in the Paramatma feature and not in the Bhagavan feature. And that is why they are satisfied according to their own desire. So they want to only see the four-handed form. They didn't go beyond that. They did not inquire beyond that. That is there something else beyond the Paramatma realization? So that's how in the spiritual world, then Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental, way, just as the pure devotee wants him to reciprocate. So if you see the devotees, just give me 1 minute, okay? Sorry for that. So in the spiritual world, Krishna is reciprocating with his pure devotees in a very divine attitude, just as the devotee wants him to reciprocate. Like, for example, the gopis want to reciprocate with him in a different way. The gopas want to reciprocate him in a different way. Mother Yashoda wants him to reciprocate in a different way. Or Nanda Maharaj wants to reciprocate. So, to their heart's content, Krishna will reciprocate to that degree. What way you want to reciprocate with me, or I will reciprocate with you in that same way. Krishna is telling that. And sometimes a devotee might want, sometimes the gopas might want that, we want him as our best friend. So, best friends, they don't have awe and reverence. Best friends have intimacy. So they will tell their secrets to Krishna. Krishna will tell his secret to them. And then they will have their own, two-party secret. Then they will hide. And this is actually their sporting things happening over there. Or even the gopis. Gopis want Krishna as their lover. They're already married to, different divine souls in the spiritual world. But yet, the apple of their eye, or their in the heart of their hearts, they think Krishna as their eternal lover, and they actually reciprocate in that way, like Krishna giving glances to the gopis, and Krishna teasing the gopis, or Krishna breaking the butter pots of the gopis. And now he's reciprocating with all kinds of gopis. Okay, it's not like that he's reciprocating only with the young gopis and the old gopis who are like mothers of elderly children. He's not, no, he's reciprocating with everybody over there. So, and in that, so that love is actually according to very different intensities of love for him. So what is the highest intensity will be? Highest intensity will be the gopis' love for Krishna. That is like so. And in the material world also, we have most of the same reciprocations are there. They are equally exchanged by the Lord. But the pure devotees are both in the material world also and in the spiritual world also, and they associate with the Supreme Lord in person. And over here also they are able to give services to the Supreme Lord. And in the spiritual world also they are able to give services to the Supreme Lord. And that is why I always say that for the devotees, the sadhana and the sadhya, both are the same. Over here also we are doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And in the spiritual world also we are doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And that is why in both the places they are deriving bliss in the loving service of the Supreme Lord. So whether the devotee stays in heaven, hell, earth, for him that place does not matter, because his sadhana and the sadhya are both the same. And that's where even Prabhupada says that, those, who do not consider Krishna as a person, they are actually committing spiritual suicides by, where they say that, they're annihilating the individual existence of the living entity. So what is Krishna doing? Krishna helps them by absorbing them into his effulgence. Still, Krishna is giving them shelter. Can you believe that? Because if you see the Brahma Jyoti, what is the Brahma Jyoti? The Brahma Jyoti is the spiritual effulgence of the Supreme Lord. And still the Supreme Lord is able to help them by absorbing them into his effulgence. So, though these impersonally, they do not agree to the, Satchit Ananda form of the Supreme Lord. But uh, they cannot relish actually the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord. So, and that is why they say that, okay, the individuality gets extinguished and the individuality gets over and finished and all. And so, sometimes some people are so much situated into their impersonal existence that then later on they return to all these material activities like building hospitals and distributing water and distributing blankets and doing some philanthropy work as such, like. So these people are not admitted into the spiritual world or the spiritual planets, uh, but they are given a chance to act on some material planets, that okay, they can revive again themselves. And the Lord will just reward them according to whatever sacrifices they perform as a karma kandi or a karma yogi or a sakama karmi as such. So this is actually Krishna's mercy. And that is why Krishna is saying that ye yatham ma prapadyante, that everyone is dependent for success upon the mercy of Krishna. And so all kinds of different degrees of success uh, are on the same path, but one has to come to that highest platform of Krishna consciousness. And that's how, if he does not come to that highest level of Krishna consciousness, then whatever attempt he is making, those attempts are completely futile. And Bhagavatam also says, akama sarva kamava moksha kam udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So whether somebody has desires, whether somebody does not have any desire, whether he wants some fruitive results, whether he is after liberation, then what he should do is, with all his efforts, with all his endeavors, with all his might, he should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is why he will have perfection when he will worship the Supreme Lord. And then that, when he is worshiping the Supreme Lord, then that will actually get converted into Krishna consciousness or culminate into Krishna consciousness. So this is what, when we say that Krishna is reciprocating, ye yathama prapadyante. So this is the meaning. So now, after this particular shloka, this is the 43rd shloka, somebody might ask that why should the Supreme Lord, full of knowledge and bliss, involve himself in this material world into the sin and piety? Pap and Punya mein, why will Krishna, involve himself? So then two reasons he gives. of Lord's appearance. So firstly, in the next only shloka, he will say that Ajasya janmopatha nashanaaya karmani akartur grahanaya pumsam nanvatnanyatha koharita dehayogam puro gunanumut karma tantraha karma tantram. So he says that, yeah. Anuprabhu, please read this translation and purport both.
Translation: The appearance of the Lord is manifested for the annihilation of the upstarts. His activities are transcendental and are enacted for the understanding of all persons. Otherwise, since the Lord is transcendental to all material modes, what purpose could he serve by coming to earth? Purport: Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Brahma Samhita 5.1. The form of the Lord is eternal, blissful, and all-satisfying. His so-called birth is therefore an appearance only, like the birth of the sun on the horizon. His birth does not, like that of the living entities, take place under the influence of material nature and the bondage of the reactions of past deeds. His works and activities are independent, pastimes, and are not subject to the reactions of material nature. In Bhagavad-gītā 4.14, it is said, Namam karmani limphanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yo bhajanati karma bina sabhadyate. The law of karma enacted by the Supreme Lord for the living entities cannot be applicable to him, nor has the Lord any desire to improve himself by activities like those of ordinary living beings. Ordinary living beings work for the improvement of their conditional life. But the Lord is already
Yeah, but the Lord is already
full of all opulence, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Why should he desire improvement? No one can excel him in any opulence, and therefore the desire for improvement is absolutely useless for him. One should always discriminate between the activities of the Lord and those of ordinary living beings. Thus, one may come to the right conclusion regarding the Lord's transcendental position. One who can come to the conclusion of the Lord's transcendence can become a devotee of the Lord and can at once be free from all reactions of past deeds. It is said karma niradhati kintu na bhakti bhajam. The Lord minimizes or nullifies the reactionary influence of the devotees past deeds. Brahma Samhita 5.54. The activities of the Lord are to be accepted and relished by all living entities. His activities are to attract the ordinary man towards the Lord. The Lord always acts in favor of the devotees, and therefore ordinary men who are creative actors or seekers of salvation may be attracted to the Lord when he acts as protector of the devotees. The creative actors can attain their goals by devotional service, and the salvationists can also attain their goals in life by devotional service to the Lord. The devotees do not want the fruitive results of their work, nor do they want any kind of salvation. They relish the glorious superhuman activities of the Lord, such as his lifting Govardhan hill and his killing the demon Putna in infancy. His activities are enacted to attract all kinds of men, karmis, jnanis, and bhaktas. Because he is transcendental to all laws of karma, there is no possibility of his accepting a form of Maya as is forced on the ordinary living entities who are bound by the actions and reactions of their own deeds. The secondary purpose of his appearance is to annihilate the upstart asuras and to stop the nonsense of the atheistic propaganda by less intelligent persons. By the Lord's causeless mercy, the asuras who are killed personally by the personality of Godhead get salvation. The meaningful appearance of the Lord is always distinct from ordinary birth. Even the pure devotees have no connection with the material body. And certainly the Lord, who appears as he is in his Satchidananda form, is not limited by material form.
So actually this shloka, very much is Paritrana sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma santhata danaya sambhavani yuge yuge. So though he is unborn, okay, ajasya is saying that he's unborn, Lord takes birth, ajasya or janma, for the sake of annihilating the upstarts. He takes the birth, means to kill these, wicked people, he takes birth. And although who is without any action, karmani akartuha, he is without any action. So he acts to attract all kinds of people. He says that grahanya pumsam. So he acts to attract all kinds of people. All kinds of people actually means here over here is the karmis, the jnanis, and the bhaktas. So he's ready to attract all these people. So otherwise, why would the transcendental Lord come to this earth? So even his pure devotee has no connection with this material world. So it's not like that he's like an ordinary living entity who's forced to take birth by karma. Krishna comes by his own free will. Sometimes he'll come by his own free will, sometimes he'll send his representatives also. And where he's saying that, namam karmani limpanti name karmas phale spriha, where he's saying that like sometimes we do work that, there is some outward result. There is some, inward, in fact, feelings also and emotions also of happiness, sadness, or fearfulness. So we seek something outside. We seek something outside, and it affects our inward. If I'm doing something external, it will affect my internals also. So Krishna is saying that he does not have any effect like that. कि मैं कुछ बाहर करूंगा तो मुझे अंदर से खुशी मिलेगी, मैं अंदर से दुखी हो जाऊंगा, नहीं. He does not desire any result only. Why? Because Krishna is Atmarama. He is self-satisfied. He is complete. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam. And that is why even in the Bhagavad-gītā 4.13, he's saying that he is not a doer. How? Because he's not affected internally, nor he's seeking any result also externally. So, because Krishna is, complete, he does not desire anything, and nothing will even affect him. So, if I desire, then something will affect me. If I don't desire only, nothing will affect me. So, for example, somebody is desiring that I should have 1 crore rupee. So, what will happen? This person, because he wants 1 crore rupee, then he'll go into an anxiety. How will I earn? What will I do? Should I cheat? Should I not cheat? Should I do hard work? Okay, even if he's doing some hard work by honest means, he still has some anxiety, now what will happen, not will happen. Should I invest here? Should I invest there? So all that type of, anxiety this guy will take up, the normal human being. But if he does not desire only anything, so I'm not saying that you should not desire only, you should be desireless. No. But the desires should be dovetailed in a proper channelized manner, where, when you appropriately desire, then you don't mess up your life. Or when you appropriately desire, then you are going in a direction which is helping you achieve your goal, which is Krishna Prema. Okay, for us, the goal is Krishna Prema. So that is why, because Krishna does not desire anything, that then nothing affects him. So even the same goes for the living entity also. If I don't desire anything wrong, right, then I will not be affected. But yes, if I am desiring something spiritual, then definitely I have to take some anxiety for Krishna. And that anxiety is a transcendental anxiety. Like, for example, during book distribution, okay, we take so much of anxiety. Oh, tomorrow, I have to go on book distribution. How many books will I distribute? What is the stock I will take? And, okay, then, will I get permission from this company? Will I get permission from that mall? And, what will be the, response of the people? And if I'm actually distributing on roads and, signals, crossing signals, what will happen? Will people buy? What should I say to people that they will, pick up the book? At least they'll pick up and see the book. So this is all transcendental anxiety, and these anxieties are actually helping us. So even in the spiritual world, the pure devotees also take anxieties. It's not like that pure devotees don't take anxieties for Krishna, but they relish those anxieties. They are happy taking anxiety for Krishna. Like Prabhupada, he took so much of anxiety for Krishna. Imagine that at the age of 70, Srila Prabhupada, goes to the West. He's going on Jaldot. He's having 2 heart attacks, and still he's praying that, please, give me the strength, because I'm going on such a land where people don't even know anything about Krishna consciousness. And if I were in Srila Prabhupada's place at the age of 17, if I'm suffering 2 heart attacks, I would have definitely taken an about U-turn and come back to India. But here is a person, and that is why he is called a Senapati Bhakta. Senapati Bhakta means a military commandant. A commander, he goes in front, he never sees behind. He does not move, turn around behind and he sees, and that is why he's called the Senapati Bhakta of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And he went to the West. He took so many anxieties for Krishna. So many, means that whole 11 years. And in fact, this anxiety did not start at the age of 70. That anxiety started when the spiritual master gave him that instruction. That, 2 instructions he gave. That go to the West and preach in English and write books. These are the 2, very prominent instructions that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had given to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, after that, his life was full of anxieties. His full family had fallen apart. His wife had given up on him, and he had been away from her, and his business completely collapsed. And he was, in fact, his wife had actually even stolen the Bhagavad-gītā translations to that some kabadi wala. What do you call for that kabadi wala? Raddi wala. She had sold that to him. Now imagine that anxiety. Like, I am writing a whole book. I have finished all my translations, full 18 chapter translations, word to word translations I have finished. And then somebody goes and sells that thing. Instead of going and printing that, somebody goes and sells it off to some, kabadi wala. And just imagine his anxiety. He has to again write the Bhagavad-gītā. He has to translate the Bhagavatam also. He has to translate the Bhagavad-gītā also. And this is the anxiety that, Srila Prabhupada has taken for Krishna. So, in the spiritual world also, similar anxiety the Gopas will take, the Gopis will take. Mother Yashoda is in anxiety. When will Kana come back home? She's waiting. And over here, the Gopis are also waiting. And the Gopas are in anxiety. When will it be tomorrow morning when we'll again get to associate with Krishna? So that anxiety will not bring them diabetes or cancer or any other disease. That anxiety will enhance their relationship more with Krishna. That anxiety will, make their relation with Krishna more stronger and more condensed also with Krishna. So that anxiety is, transcendental anxiety. And this is what, so once we also understand Krishna's transcendental position, then we will also become transcendental by gaining that knowledge. Why all this knowledge, is being given to us by Krishna in the Bhagavad-gītā or in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? Because this only transcendental understanding is going to transform us. So when we say, I read, once that transcendental understanding is not theoretical. It is an understanding based on transformation. So, a question can come when Krishna is not motivated by any desire, then why does Krishna act? So, he acts out of love. Now, again, somebody may ask that is love not karma phalespriha? Karma phalespriya means I'm doing some karma and I need some phala also. I need some, fruits also. So no, when we want something material as a result of that karma phalespriya, but Krishna does not want anything material, and he does not want any material result. So that is why he says that iti, what is it? Iti mam yo bhajanti. So he says that when one will understand this, that I should not desire anything material, he will not be bounded by the karma that he does. And that is why knowledge about the Lord is extraordinary, as the devotees are not interested in the battle, who won, who did not win, or what are some other historical battles happened. No, devotees are interested in that battle because Krishna, because it is connected, that battle is connected with Krishna. And that is why in our life also, we will have many battles. We will be fighting many battles. The biggest battle we are fighting on a daily basis is our own mind. And because we are connected with Krishna, and because Krishna is transcendental, then because we keep Krishna in the center of our life, then we will also be purified, and we will win those battles. We will win those battles when we keep Krishna in the center. And every day we battle with our mind when we are chanting. Every day we are battling. But if my aim while chanting is to please the Supreme Lord, then that 2 hour of battle that is there, I will very swiftly pass through that battle. Why? Because my aim of my chanting is to please Krishna. The aim of my chanting is to please my spiritual master. And we become purified eventually when we try to please the Supreme Lord and not our material senses. So therefore, there are two different things. To know Krishna and to know about Krishna. So these two are very different things. Like, I was giving the other day this example that, we Gujaratis, so I'm born in a Gujarati family. So we Gujaratis, when we say, somebody tells us, Krishna, we know Krishna. But then what do you know about Krishna? If I say I know about Krishna, but then what do you know about Krishna? What are his likes? What are his dislikes? What he does not like? What he likes? What is his mood? We don't know that. So that is why when I say I know Krishna, that okay, he's some god. Okay, you take it very lightly. But when you know about Krishna, you will know that, yes, having that approach to Krishna, and having that, I don't need, just a theoretical knowledge, but I need a transformational knowledge, because theoretical knowledge will just stay in the head. Transformational knowledge will change the direction of our love. And when we come to know Krishna, and not just about Krishna, when we know Krishna, we become purified. And then we will redirect our love to Krishna, and then we'll return back home, back to Godhead. So it is very necessary that we know about Krishna. What is that personality? What is his personality? What are his attributes? What are his likes? What are his dislikes? And in what situation Krishna behaved? In what way did he behave? Otherwise, what happens when people say, no, I know Krishna. So then they, actually they start blaspheming Krishna. Krishna ne yudh karwaya hai. Krishna only went as peace messenger, and Krishna ne yudh karwaya hai. But no, we will know about the inner desires of Krishna, that why this battle was fought. Why Krishna wanted this battle to be fought. And that is why we will appreciate that, yes, whatever Krishna has done, he's done it for the betterment of his devotees. And because Duryodhana and party were too much having atrocities on the Pandavas, that is why that fight was necessary. The battle was really the necessity. And that is why, if we actually read the Shastras, we will know about Krishna more and more. Otherwise, if we do not read the Bhagavad-gītā and Bhagavatam, we will only know Krishna, okay, he is one God, and we will compare him to be as equal as any demigod. Maybe it might be Shiva, or it might be Ganapati, or it might be, Mother Kali, or it might be, you will just take him on that same level. But no, Krishna is far above the level of the demigods also. So that is very necessary. So yeah, let's go to the next. I'm sorry, I just took a little more time with this, but it was necessary. And because Prabhupada actually gave in this Bhagavad-gītā, Namam Karmani Limpanti. So I had to, go through this also and explain more from that angle. Then he says that Tasya prapanna khila lokapanam avasthitanam anushasane sve arthaya jatasya yadusva ajasya varta sakhe kitaya tirtha kirte. Brinda, please read this translation and purport.
Translation. O my friend, please therefore chant the glories of the Lord who is meant to be glorified in the places of pilgrimage. He is unborn, and yet he appears by his causeless mercy upon the surrendered rulers of all parts of the universe. Only for their interest did he appear in the family of his unalloyed devotees, the Yadus. Purport. There are innumerable rulers all over the universe in different varieties of planets. The sun god in the sun planet, the moon god in the moon planet, Indra in the heavenly planet, Vayu, Varuna, and those in the Brahmaloka planet where Lord Brahma is living. All are obedient servants of the Lord. Whenever there is any trouble in the administration of the innumerable planets in different universes, the rulers pray for an appearance, and the Lord appears. The Bhagavatam 1.3.28 has already confirmed this in the following verse. Ete chamsha kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. In every millennium, whenever there is any trouble for the obedient rulers, the Lord appears. He also appears for the sake of his pure unalloyed devotees. The surrendered rulers and the pure devotees are always strictly under the control of the Lord, and they are never disobedient to the desires of the Lord. The Lord is therefore always attentive to them. The purpose of pilgrimage is to remember the Lord constantly, and therefore the Lord is known as Tirtha Kriti. The purpose of going to a place of pilgrimage is to get the chance to glory the Lord. Even today, although times have changed, there are still pilgrimage sites in India. For example, in Mathura and Vrindavan, where we had a chance to stay, people are awake from an early in the morning at 4 a.m. up till night time and are constantly engaged some way or the other in chanting the holy glories of the Lord. The beauty of such a pilgrimage site is that automatically one remembers the holy glories of the Lord. His name, fame, quality, form, pastimes, and entourage are all identical to the Lord, and therefore chanting the glories of the Lord invokes the personal presence of the Lord. Anytime or anywhere pure devotees meet and chant the glories of the Lord is present without any doubt. It is said by the Lord himself that he always stays where his pure devotees chant his glories. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, first chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Questions by Vidura. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. I'll just first answer this Priyanka's doubt, where she's saying that the ruler of the planets, do they exist inside the planet like a person residing in a country? Yes. Like the sun god, he will reside in his own planet, and the moon god will reside in his own planet, or that particular presiding deity will reside in his own planet. Like, for example, Svargaloka. So Svargaloka, who is the king of that planet? Indra. So Indra is residing in the heavenly planets itself only. Or Yamaraj. Yamaraj, it's not like that Yamaraj is the ruler of the hell, but he is residing in heaven. Not like that. Or Indra is the king of the heaven and reside. No, not that way. Everybody is residing in their respective planets. Okay, coming to this particular shloka. So he says that a lot of emphasis is given over here on chanting the glories of the Lord. And, ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat. So this uttama means actually one who is very famous as the best of, those who is good. And the Lord is all good in all circumstances. So, and this is the Lord's actually natural, you can say, reputation. And his goodness is completely unlimited. And he uses his goodness also unlimitedly. So, a devotee, sometimes, he's also called Uttama Shloka. Why? Because he's eager to glorify the Supreme Lord or his devotees. So, glorifying the Lord and glorifying the Lord's devotees are very much the same. Or rather, glorifying the devotee is more important than glorifying the Lord directly. And that is why, if you see, even all our acharyas, whether it be, Srila Narottam Das Thakur or Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, they all, say, or in fact, Narottam Das Thakur also says that, Chhadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistara Paya Keba. So one cannot be liberated from this material contamination without sincerely serving the pure devotees of Krishna. And when we are serving the devotees, we're chanting the holy names, where Vrindar just read that he's saying that any time or anywhere pure devotees meet and chant the glories of the Lord is present there without any doubt. He says that I am not present in Vaikuntha, I am not present in any heaven, I am not present anywhere, but I am present in that place where the devotees get together and sing my glories. So any place where, in any house where the Lord's glories are sung, the Lord's names are chanted, that house is not different than Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan. What is actually, I'm trying to get that shlok. It is actually the fourth canto only, actually, shloka. I just don't remember that shloka. Says that. No, I'm not getting that shloka actually. It's a very nice shloka where he says that Yatra Gayanti, he says that Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe Yoginam Hridayeshu Va Tatra Tishtamti Narada Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta. He is saying that Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe. Naham, I am not in Vaikuntha. And Yoginam hridayeshu va. I am not in the heart of the yogis also. And then he's saying, then where I am? Tatra tishtami narada. I remain where my devotees engage in glorifying my activities. And yatra gayanti mad bhakta. So wherever my devotees are glorifying my activities, I am very much present over there. So that is why, Krishna does not leave the company of the devotees. Like, if you see, for example, the existence of the devotees without Krishna is zero. Or Krishna cannot live without his devotees. So that intimate relation Krishna has with his devotees, and that is why it is said over here that I am wherever my devotees are chanting my glories. So, dear devotees, we have just completed this particular first chapter, and we'll be moving on to the second chapter tomorrow. So, thank you so much for joining in. And only in the association of devotees can we relish Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Alone, though, what can I relish the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? But I relish the Bhagavatam in you all's association, all of yours association. I really relish the Bhagavatam, where every devotee's contribution is, that much really important to me, whether he is reading the shloka or whether he is reading the purport or the translation. And while they are reading, there are some newer meanings coming from that particular shloka, what I must have heard before in many lectures also. But when the devotees are reading over here, I get some newer meanings within the association of the devotees when they are reading. So, devotees, I'm really very grateful to you all for reading the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.